Now, sports can vary many different countries. They can go from many different varieties, such as soccer to water polo, which no one really knows a whole lot about. But the main two that I've always been fascinated with are rugby and football. Now, the reason I've been fascinated with these two is because they're so similar, yet in the same way they are so different. Now, what I mean by that is the rules are different, the cultures are different, and the types of people that play them are different. Now, most rugby players or rugby teams and leagues are on a European circuit, which they're foreign countries. They're not in the United States of America. They're in places like England and New Zealand. So typically, most Americans don't know a whole lot about them. But they do know about football. Football is not known as America's pastime, that is baseball, but football holds more viewing records, more people tune in to watch the Super Bowl than they do the World Series. And so it's just overall and better culture, it's the better sport. So what people don't tend to know is that there are very, very many similarities in these two sports. But like I said, there are also quite a bit of differences. One of the differences in rugby versus football is that in rugby, when you score a goal, which is the same thing as a touchdown in American football, you touch the ball on the ground. If the ball does not touch the ground, the point does not count. Now in football, as most football fans know, all the football has to do is cross a plane of a white line. That gives you 6 points, you kick a field goal for 7. Which brings me to the next point of kicking a field goal. In football, you snap the ball to the holder puts the ball on the tee, and the kicker kicks it through the uprights of a field goal. Well, in rugby, the kicker will bounce the ball on the ground and then kick it through much more narrow uprights, giving them those extra points. Now, no one really knows why they do this. Maybe it's to make it more challenging. Maybe it's because it's just more fun. Nobody knows. But also, in rugby, when a ball goes out of bounds or there's a penalty or they call it a foul, the ball is then taken out of bounds, just like soccer, which is also another foreign sport, and it is inbounded by throwing it any way you can into a group of people where the teammates of that same person will pick them up into the air and try to throw them higher than the other team to catch the ball. The teammates will then catch the person and continue on with the game. If there's some type of clump of people or some type of gathering where possession of the ball is not really known, the teammates in rugby will lock up, such as they're going to push something like you're pushing a car, and the ball will be sat in the middle, kind of like the opposite of tug of war. Instead of pulling, you're pushing, and the team that gets the ball and throws it back to their other teammate, well, they get the ball. Now also in football, American football, you can throw a ball forward. You get one forward pass. Anything behind that's a lateral. Now, in rugby, all you can do is laterals. There are no forward passes. The ball has to go backwards. If not, it cannot be moved forward. Now, rules, those vary between sports. I've just listed a couple of you between rugby and football. But the main part that gets the difference of these two sports, the diversity of these two, is their cultures. Rugby being in a foreign to the United States country, such as England, New Zealand, there's a lot more culture around these sports. Football is more just to play the game for the money. Well, in these other foreign countries where rugby is more popular, you will try to grow into rugby. You'll play rugby at a younger age. It'll become your lifestyle, your culture. You'll live, eat, sleep rugby. That's what you'll do. And when you get done with a rugby game, you'll go out with your teammate and you'll have a beer. Well, in football, you don't really do that. You go back to practice. So, these two really vary quite a bit. But most people just don't know that because rugby is not a very household common sport in the United States. And that's rugby and football.